Hey, welcome back. This is Coach Parker with CoachParker.org. How are you guys doing today? Today I got another youth football drill, and we're going to go over that in this video. So welcome. Today's youth football drill is running the ladder drill for running backs. I don't know, you guys are probably like me, and let me get this here situated. I've got a lot of backs that for whatever reason, when they break through the hole, they decide to cut back to the inside, right into the heart of the defense. Sometimes that works out for them, especially if it's a really over-pursuing defense. But really, I see so many backs cut right back into the Mike linebacker and inside linebacker and the 9 guys that are inside. And that, it's like, you miss a touchdown. I don't know how many touchdowns I've just hit myself on the forehead because the back decided to cut back the inside. As soon as he got through the hole, saw some daylight, he sees one little small cornerback there, gets afraid, and cuts back into the 3 linebackers. So what I came up with this drill, I'd heard a guy talk about run the ladder, get down the sidelines. And so I came up with this drill trying to teach our running backs how to weave over to the ladder and run that sideline and use that angle there and use their speed. So this is what I've come up with here. And basically what I do is I set up some rings here. I've got an overloaded set because that's usually what I use. I've got a little bit of wider stance here with my tight end. So these are rings, or you can run with players if you want. I've either got my center or a coach here with shotgun snap to your quarterback. You know what? You could have your quarterback or to your running back here. You could have a pitch thing set up. You could have all kinds of stuff that you want to do. I run a lot of single wing spread wildcat stuff for my back is basically running off. But if you want to have a handoff or a pitch or whatever and have a multiple kind of, you can add kind of some stuff to that there. You can certainly do that on the center snap exchange. But if you just want to really focus on getting them to the ladder, you might just want to pitch them the ball or even have them just take off with the ball. And what I try to do is before we get everybody involved, the coaches, you kind of see on here, I've got coaches set up. I'll walk and weave and show them how to get over to the ladder there and what we're looking for, and talk to them about not cutting back into the defense. And so we'll do that, and they'll walk through that a couple of times. Then we'll put people out there, and they'll weave and walk through the coaches, as you can see there. And then we'll bring it on to where it's really this, where it's you're really kind of reading some things. And I like to add this piece in here, is this little piece here where they're having to read, because this is really about sweeping. This is really kind of for the sweeping backs. Although stretch sweep and some CD gap things you want them getting over there too. But this is really, for backs that are going to get outside and sweep. And so what we do with this guy right here, so the back gets the ball, he's going to make a read here at this level. If this guy, and it's either a coach or a player, if this coach will tell him over here what to do. If he sees that player's butt facing him, he's going to turn up, because that means that guy's basically kicking the contained guy outside. Okay, so he's got to turn up, because if he tries to run that, he's just basically going to run into those two. And what I tell the backs so they remember it kind of funny is don't run into your blocker's purple fart, because his butt's pointing right at you. So they think that's kind of funny, and they remember don't run into the purple fart. So the other thing is, to run outside is if you don't see that player's butt pointing right at you, that means he's got that block, that defender probably sealed, and then you can run outside of that particular block. The first couple of drills, you may not want to have him reading that and just hitting the ladder, and then of course the progression is now we're reading this. But The main point of the drill is to get them to weave over to the sideline. The second thing that I like to do in this drill is teach this stiff arm on this corner here as they come around, and even on this guy, if you want to have him do that on that guy, is to use the stiff arm with their inside hand, and this is about where the ball should be, you know. So the stiff arm is with the inside hand. They're going to hit this outside shoulder. Okay, they don't want to take him totally in the middle. We want to hit this outside shoulder and turn him and bounce and use that when we hit him with that stiff arm, that bounce to have it kind of bounce you more to the outside there. And you can kind of teach them how to stay light on their feet. And when they hit that guy, it's going to kind of soft. They can kind of hit and use that stiff arm to actually kind of push them further and whip around that outside guy. It's great when you've taught this and those backs use that and then a little light comes on that they figured out. So that's kind of the next progression is, so one, they're running this without all these guys. Two, you've got these guys in here and they're learning to weave through. Three, you're reading this guy and then adding this little stiff arm step in, and so that's where that goes. And then kind of in that here is if they do cut up, because this guy's got his butt out here, the corner and the coach here can kind of come together where they've got to kind of explode through that. He's going to want to weave through that, but you can teach kind of an explode through this, or teach the stiff arm if you've got your corner coming up, and then he can stiff arm this guy there. But he wants to continue to get over here, and then the last little piece is you have a guy with a tackle wheel or a yoga ball that's going to push this at him, and he doesn't want to get touched by that, and he wants to get up there to the ladder and then off. And the coaching point is you don't want to get them too close to the sidelines. They should be at least about a yard and a half away from the sideline on this. But you don't want them getting here and then cutting back and then going up. I mean, that is the no-no that we're trying to cure on this drill. And I usually have all my backs go through this multiple times. This is a drill you can do it every 2 or 3 weeks. And just have as a reminder that, look, if we're running outside really of the B gap, 95% of the time we want you hitting that sideline. Only every now and then is a defense going to stack so many people to the outside and over pursue that you can cut back in. So and if you've got a really good back and they know how to do that and they're scoring with the cutbacks, then you may not want to talk to them about this. But if you've got some backs that might be a little bit slower or not good juke backs, that you need them running the technique, then this I've had a couple of backs where I didn't really want to teach this because they were so good they were able to do this. We did talk about it, but we didn't really hold their feet to the fire on this. But I would say 95%, 99% of most backs, you really want to hold their feet to the fire on this. I know some coaches are going to argue about this. I know I've coached with one guy before that just didn't really like this drill. But I've just racked my head so many times seeing backs cut back to the middle linebacker and get tackled. So we teach the ladder, and we want them to get to the outside and run down the sidelines. And so this is how we teach it. You can teach it with, like I said, you can teach it with rings as the offensive line. You can bring your offensive line in here and get them some work and kind of do half line on this. But you want to get all your backs to go through, and definitely your backs are going to run outside C gap kind of stuff. You may want to have to add some progression in this. You could have a lead blocker on the first read here, and he can actually block this guy and read the blocker's butt. But that's a good progression there. So the main points in this is don't let the running back, when you're running this drill, make any kind of cut back to the inside. That's not what this drill you're trying to do. You're trying to teach them to get over to the ladder. Teach the running backs, to weave over there. It's not a complete just run to the sideline. They kind of, as they're running, they're kind of transitioning over to the sideline, and it's not just they're going to get 5 yards and cut over to the side. Some backs want to do that. They get through the hole, they want to plant and like run 5 yards. No, they're kind of transitioning over there and gaining ground to the sideline. It's not a cut. It's not a 5 yard out and then hit the sideline and go. Or it's more kind of a transitioning wheel route to get over there and get through that traffic. Really work the stiff arm in this drill because it really kind of goes together. The stiff arm where they're an open field, they've got the ball on their outside hand, their inside hand. They're going to hit that outside shoulder of the defender, try to turn him, and bounce around that tackle. They don't really want to attack, especially if the defender's pursuing over. They don't want to run back into him. They just want to put their arm out and stiff it and then kind of bounce off of him and let him kind of bounce behind them, and they bounce forward. And that really works if you work on that technique. The other thing is, have them read the butt of this read here. That really works out good. Football needs to be held correctly so they can do the stiff arms. I think I've covered all of that, but this is one of the drills that's kind of, I've made sure that I've started running for the last 4 or 5 seasons to make sure the backs understand cut to the outside, quit cutting back into the defense. Because what you can also do is set up a whole defense and show them that really outside of this point and over, there may be only 2 defenders there. And now there's going to be 9 guys over here. And so you can show them that. It's like, look, you can beat tackles on 2 guys, but you really can't beat 9 guys. So quit turning back into the 9 guys and really try to logically explain to them what's going on there. One last point right here is you may want to teach at the end of this progression, you might want to teach them how to, right at the 5 yard line or the 3 yard line or the 2 yard line, to make a cut back inside, especially if they've got a hard pursuing guy, because that guy may not be able to slow down and he'll run right past them. And so he's pursuing this way. And your guy's kind of here and he's trying to pursue, and your guy's right here on the 2 yard line, and he cuts back this way and the defender kind of goes off that way. So you can you can teach them that maybe if they're a little older so it doesn't confuse them. But my youngest son and a couple other backs have used that to their advantage, and it's worked out pretty good. So once again, this is the running the ladder drill for running backs. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. This is Coach Parker with CoachParker.org. Please like the video if you did. Make a comment. Look, if you can subscribe to the channel, that really helps us. YouTube gives us more oomph if I've got more subscribers. So please do that. If you can, share the video. That's another thing YouTube loves. That really will help support me. You can shop my store over at CoachParker.org. I got links to a bunch of Amazon stuff that I've bought and I use in my stuff. And of course, you can head over to CoachParker.org and buy my playbooks, the Power Wing Beast Offense, which is a multiple offense based on the Beast Single Wing that was from Yale. I've been using this playbook since 2006 and been running the Beast since 94. And my defensive playbook, the 6-2 Multi-8 Defense, which I started developing back in 2006, 2007, and been running it since then. And both those books have been very effective for me and given me about a 70% winning percentage and almost a perfect playoff berth record. So once again, this is Coach Parker with CoachParker.org. I hope you guys are having a great day. Remember to play for fun, and winning is funner. Ciao. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for joining.